in. So I don't know if you ever seen me on your meetings, Mary Kay Advanced Group Property Inspections. If you haven't met me at your meetings, I'm there almost every Wednesday. I'm your preferred vendor. Many of your agents do use our services. So now I'm going to do a class for you to learn more about this is the inspection industry and how you choose the most qualified inspection company. I know that they emailed you a questionnaire, and I don't know if you have it. If you don't worry about it. It's 4 questions, which I'm also going to give you our website where you can learn all about exactly what I'm going to talk about. And it has what questions you have to ask before you schedule an inspection. So do you have the questionnaire with you or no? Or no? Did you guys get a questionnaire? Can you hear me?
I have it, yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't able to print one before I came in, but what we'll do is it's okay. I will ask you to read the question for me and I will answer it for you. But before we do that, I'm going to introduce you. Have you guys done any inspections so far? Have you ordered any inspections so far, or you're just new to the business?
I haven't ordered. I'm like still fairly new.
Okay, good. I like that. I like when I moved to America, I thought Virgin was only, Virgin by relationship, but I guess Virgin is also for everything. So I like it that you haven't, because now you'll learn more and you'll be safe and you'll be prepared for this inspection industry. So with inspections, first of all, inspection starts from the day your offer is accepted. So you have an offer going on back and forth. You have counters going back and forth. It's from the day the last counter offer was accepted. It's not from the day that you write the offer. It's from the day that the contract now it's signed, fully executed by seller, buyer. They're saying, that's it, the house is yours, go open escrow. That's the day, not from the day that you open escrow, the day from the acceptance of the offer. Why? Because let's say you got the offer accepted on Friday, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and now escrows are closed. You wait for Monday to open escrow. So if you wait for Monday to open escrow, and if you had, for example, 5 days or 6 days or 7 days to do inspection, you lost the 2 days. Now you have, if it's 5 days, now you have 3 days. And the inspection is something that it's one of the most important things where once you inspected, we are going to tell you, or whoever is doing this inspection is going to tell you, hey, there's some issues, and now you have to bring a specialist. So that's, I'm going to go back now to tell you the simplest way. So when we get sick, we go to the doctors. We go to a physical checkup, right? They check everything. They check our blood. They do the heart, this, that, and then they might tell you, hey, I'm hearing some murmur, or I feel like your liver enzymes are high, or I think that there's something going on according to the blood test. So now they send you to a specialist. They tell you, like I have mitral valve prolapse for years and years and years. So I go to a heart specialist. I was born with that. Most of us have it. We don't know it. It's an irregular heartbeat. So I found out when I went to the doctors many years ago, and they said, hey, go see a specialist. And now I, follow up with them. So that's exactly what it is with physical inspections. We'll come in, whoever is going to come in, do the physical inspection, check the 12 major components of the house, which is foundation, roof, electrical, attic, plumbing, and so forth and so on, all of the major components, and then plus more. Let's say screens, windows, doorways, if the doorways have any problems of cracks, or the driveways, if they have any cracks, is it earthquake related? Is it just settling issues? All those things that a house makes the house complete is supposed to be checked. Once that's checked, and let's say if we notice that the plumbing, I don't want to go through a lot of technical stuff because you don't need to know galvanized copper and all that, because once you get into those and then you say something to the client in that part of the the issue. Let's say if we say, the plumbing, it needs change, and it needs more copper, it's galvanized, or it's galvanized, it's copper, whatever the issue is. Then if you know, and you say, oh, you know what, it's copper or it's galvanized, and I know it's not a big deal, for example, that will come back to you after close of escrow. They can always come back and say, you told me this was this and that was that. Just stay away from that part of it. The inspectors will do that work. But why I'm here, just to teach you how to choose the most qualified inspection company, so your client doesn't get sued and you don't get sued. And most of the time, the clients sue us and sue you guys if we missed anything. So far, and I mean, all my managers and brokers tell me, don't say so far, but we haven't gotten sued yet. We've been doing this since 1994. It's husband and wife team. I'm the marketing person, so there's some hiccups here and there at the beginning where we missed maybe the heater to be stropped or something like that, or any, some kind of an issue where we learned the first 5 years is where you learn the most. So that's what physical inspection is. It's visual. They don't poke anything. They don't dismantle anything. There's no carpet pulling. There's no furniture pulling, because let's say they pull furniture and something breaks, or they pull a carpet and something goes wrong, and your client doesn't buy it, or even if he wants to buy it, now who's going to fix the problem if there was a problem? So the insurance of inspectors, they don't allow us to do any of that, and it's always a visual inspection. Every company does only visual. That's what physical inspections are. So that's a little bit of, in a nutshell, what this industry is all about. So once escrow, now that I talked about the date, the purchase contract says 17 days to do inspections. And, this last few years, I don't know if you were in the industry, but because of all this craziness of the rates being down, and I don't know what was going on, that people were just, actually, I know the inventory was very low, but the buyers were buying it, no inspection, no appraisal, no loan contingency. And I'm sure you know what that is, and your brokers will teach you. That means that if my loan doesn't get approved, I'm still going to buy the house. If the appraisal comes in and appraises the house, and it doesn't appraise the same price that our negotiation stayed, I'm going to buy the house. And if the property has a lot of problems, I'm still going to buy the house. That's one of the most dangerous things that happened. And I'm hoping that, and it seems like it's changing, where now at least, even though we were very busy, busier than any other time, because real estate was going crazy. Everybody was selling, and many people did the inspection, even if the contract said no, they wanted to know the condition just for their sake. And many agents, they just did put the inspection contingency there. So we did very well. We did better than any other year. But we found out that most of the complaints right now after close of escrow is the inspection. So they'll give us a call and they'll ask us if we do inspections after close of escrow. And of course we do. We do inspections for listings. We do inspections for anyone. Let's say I'm living in the house and I'm worried about some problems. I can hire an inspector and ask them to see, the condition of my property. And I would ask them, why are you asking that? And they would say, you know what? When I bought the house, there were so many offers and there was so much paperwork. And I didn't know that I was waiving the inspection contingency, which they knew. They signed everything. But because now that they closed escrow and they put their last penny in there, they try to get some money from somewhere. So they'll say, I want to know if there's any problems. Well, I don't get involved with legality. I'm not supposed to. I'm not part of the transaction with the negotiations, but we say, okay, we do the inspection. And at the end, when we do the inspection, we could call them to ask them if they're happy with the results. And they would say, yeah, there's so many problems. I'm going to go after everybody. Even though they did sign everything, they did sign contingency forms that, I don't have contingency to the inspection and all that, they still try to go back. And if they do, they hire a lawyer. Now you have to protect yourself. So this is why this industry is one of the most important parts of your transaction. The state doesn't control it. So let's go back. Let's go to the questionnaire. The first one, can you guys read me the first question if you don't mind? I don't have the list with me, and I know that I know exactly what I'm going to talk about, but I don't want to switch it back and forth.
Is it the one that says, are you involved with any professional groups or associations?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So the first question for you guys so let me go back. Inspection industry is not controlled by the state. It's not regulated by anyone. You have a real estate license to do real estate. Plumbers have licenses to do inspections in their work. Electricians have licenses, roofers have licenses, doctors have licenses. Everyone that comes into the property about anything regarding a property, they have licenses and they have insurances. This industry is not controlled. So anyone can go to your inspection with no licensing, no insurance, no E&O. So E&O is for errors and omission. Let me do this. I'm going to talk about overall what's going on. And after you listen to me, all those questionnaires will make sense to you. Okay. So since I can go do inspections, I cannot do it. I don't want to go under the house. I'm afraid of insects, and many times there are rats, and I can't. I'm a personality that I can't. And it's difficult. It's like you need to figure out roof, this, that. There's many women inspectors, which I take my hats off for them, but I can't. So, but anyone can. Let's say if, Ashley, if you decide, hey, I'm going to do inspection tomorrow, which is one of the hardest things, and I wouldn't even recommend it because you'll know why after I'm done. It's full of lawsuits. Everybody wants to sue us. You can do it. You can go online. You can say, I want to become a certified inspector. They'll send you a test. You would just, you can try to pass the test million times, and they'll give you answers. Once you pass that, now you have certified inspector. Hey, I'm a certified inspector. And you can just wave that to your clients and to your advertisements. I'm a certified inspector. But you have never built. You might have. This is just a scenario. I'm saying an example. If you have never built, never done any construction, you would not know where the problem is coming from. You would not know what to look for. But the state says, anybody wants to do it, go do it. I don't care. So there's many inspection companies and inspectors out there that they go in, get online a report where they can, it's like maybe 10, 12 pages, that they can fill it out by hand or by the computer. And it says, okay, how is the roof doing? How is the plumbing doing? They can say, the plumbing looks okay, but see a specialist. How is the roof? Roof is doing good. And at the bottom, they can say, see a specialist. So every time you see a specialist under a comment, that inspector is off the hook. If we take them to court and say, look, you said the plumbing was fine. Well, because he wrote check with the specialist, we can't do anything to that inspector. The judge can say, did you bring in a specialist? They're just visual inspectors. They told you, I think it's fine, but bring a specialist. So that's how those people survive for a little bit. And then they close their places because they get lots of lawsuits. Many agents in many years since 1994 were doing this. They ask me when they meet me first, are you broker friendly? Are you a deal breaker? And so the only way someone will not break your deal is who has a construction experience, who's done construction before. If they've done construction before, they know. They go underneath the house. They've done plumbing work. They know the plumbing is okay, not okay. And they will tell your client, look, there's a little bit of deterioration. If you want to bring a specialist just to get a little bit of a price, or you want to know how much it's going to cost you later to fix this, or now, this is, call someone, but this is what's going on with the property. If you don't know, you say, you know what? I think it's okay, check with the specialist. I think it's not okay, check with the specialist. If you ask them why it's not okay, they'll say, bring a specialist in. That's why I'm asking you for a specialist. So with, like I said, with this industry, I don't know when and how and why the state does not control this. which is the highest suit and the most expensive part of the transaction. Let's say if we miss to say that the property has foundation problems and it needs to be bolted for earthquake purposes, and if the earthquake hits and there's a problem, now who are they going to come back to us? And it's huge. It's a lot. They sue, by the way, not for 1,000, 2,000. They sue for hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is what happened. And then I walked in, and after they came in, they see an attorney. Attorney finds psychological problem. Oh, I thought this house will never have any problems. I didn't know that had mold, or I didn't know that mold, even if it's clear, I didn't know that psychologically would bother me that this house had mold. And now they go after that. This client is disturbed. They can't live in the house. They're not being able to, live in the house because they're always afraid. So that's what happens once it gets to the lawyer's hands. So this is why I'm here. And this is why I do this. I'm one of very few people that do these classes because other companies don't even have an educator. I've studied real estate, so I know very well how real estate transactions work. And I know how important this step is. So again, since it's loose, what do we do? How do we find a good company? How do I find the most qualified inspection company? Your offices usually give you a list of people, or one or two, I don't know how that works. I know that we are your preferred vendor, one of the highest qualified. Joey can swear by us. I can give you names and names, but I'm not here to brag about me. I'm here to teach you how to do this. So what you do is when you call an inspection company, you ask them, are they members of any associations? Just like you guys are members of the MLS, now there's CRMLS, metrics, this, that, whatever you are a member of, we also have that membership. It's CREA, you have it on your questionnaire. CREA, ASHI, AHI, there's few of them. CREA is short for California Real Estate Inspectors Association. Even that association, you don't have to be part of to do inspections because we have to pay for that. And so some people don't even want to do that. I don't have to be part of it. And many times they'll tell you they're part of it and you'll believe them verbally. So if somebody tells you I'm part of CREA or ASHI or AHI, ask them to email you their certificate, okay, that they are part of that association, and make sure that's not expired because every year we have to renew it. Just like you have your yearly membership, you have your quarterly membership, we have our yearly membership. And also we have to do 40 hours of continuing education every year. If we don't complete those, we cannot be part of it. And we have to be in the class. Years ago, when we used to have those classes, because my husband has a master's in mechanical engineering and thermodynamics engineering, he's a contractor. At the beginning, it was like the classes were more very basic, this continuing education. So we will be sitting half of the class and we might even go for an hour, have coffee and come back and all that. And that was like the first years, like maybe 94, 95 when they just started. And now you can't even get out for coffee. I mean, unless you need to go to the restroom, you have to be in the class because now mostly the attorneys come in and give us the last case scenario. And I'll give you a couple of case scenarios so you know how important this moment of this inspection is, the step that you're going to take. So yeah, the CREA is California Real Estate Inspectors Association. We need to go there, give us updates. They tell us what's new. Just like you do your continuing education, just like you do your bold and you do all these classes, all these interesting things, we learn all the time. And so that's one. When you're calling them, ask them, are you a member of any inspector association? And if I were you, if you have a list with you, every year, you call them right away and ask them, do they have a CREA or ASHI, whatever association? If they say yes, ask them for the certificate. Look and see, make sure that it's not expired. And it's a true legit ASHI, AHI, or whatever, because they can quickly send you something and you think it's that and you can put it in your files and it's not. So make sure it says CREA or ASHI or AHI. And second, you ask them if I sponsor a speaker. His name is Robert Brent, which I'm also going to sponsor him on Tuesday. He talks about disclosures. He talks about your walkthroughs. He talks about your inspections, that when you get a listing, you do your own walkthrough inspection. You write stuff, I see this, I see that. So he says that because the state is not controlling it, we're sort of are not supposed to ask them if they're licensed on the phone. But what my suggestion would be, you can ask them, have you done construction before? If they say yes, you can say, oh, so you're a licensed contractor then, and then they would say yes or no, or they can say, I don't need a license. So if they say they don't need a license, hang up, do not continue with them, because that means that they've never done construction before. They might have done a little bit of a handyman, but in order for you to do actual construction, build a house from the top to bottom, you need to have a contractor's license. So ask them. To tell the truth, I've never had anybody have, it's only my opinion, that called me and said, oh, we asked and we got in trouble. I don't know, maybe someone has, but just ask them, have you done any construction before? Have you built before? Those are questions that are normal to ask. And if they say, yeah, I built, oh, so you have a license then. If the license is expired, it's okay, because that means that they've built before. You don't need we don't do construction. So that means that we don't need a valid construction license. My husband we always renew them. It's a fee that we pay and we renew just to have it a active contractor's license, but ask them. So, and also you're going to ask them, how long have they been doing inspections? Over 5 years is a good number, because like I said at the beginning, when we were doing inspections, we missed some stuff. We were new, just like you with your new licensing. That's why you have your broker, you have your manager. Whenever you're writing an offer, please do go ask them if you did the right thing. Ask them questions, because that's a legal binding contract that you are writing, right? So anybody can sue, because they made us lawyers in New York. Agents show the houses, and then once the buyer likes it, the buyer hires their own attorney, the seller hires their own attorney, they do the paperwork. And here in California, they just automatically make you lawyers. So please make sure to show your contract, and that's when you're going to learn. After a couple of years, even maybe a few months, you're going to know this like the back of your hand, but you're still going to ask. Always show until you know that I'm 100% sure I understood it and I have no mistakes in my contract. So, and you do make mistakes. Contingency. Oh my God, the contingency passed. I didn't know the loan contingency is over. I didn't even waive it. Now we have to waive it, but are we completely approved? And those kind of things. So make sure that you do that. And that's what we did that too. We might have seen a crack on the floor, and we forgot to tell them what kind of crack it is. And they would come back to us and we'd say, okay, we go back and say, look, it's cosmetics crack. It's not earthquake related. Or we had someone that we did turn on the dishwasher, and this was in Beverly Hills home. The lady had a crystal vase in there, and she called us back, and I guess it was a $2,000 vase. I don't know. She named it. She said that's how much it was. It was not supposed to be washed. We had to pay $2,000 to her to replace her vase. Not that we had to, but we wanted to, because we just started. We want to get a good name out there. Every story has two sides. If I'm not there to tell my side, how would people believe me? So we did that, and we still do. If it's a mistake that we don't want it to go to any further than just coming and fixing, we do it, because we want everybody to be happy. We want the buyer to be happy, seller to be happy, you guys to be happy. Oh, you know what? There's something like, okay, maybe I don't know, a screen that had a cut and we didn't notice it. We'll come and replace it, no problem. That doesn't mean that I'm encouraging you to call me for everything that's not even our fault. But what I mean that when you deal with a company that is strong and is powerful, they can do anything for you. So if someone comes to your office or on the street, or somebody says, or whatever, oh, I have this awesome inspector, or they come to you and say, look, I just went through a divorce or something tragical or whatever. I just started this business. Can you give me business? Please, please help them. Give them maybe whatever, $100 a month or whatever you want to do. Take them out to lunch, give them some money to feed their children or whatever the situation is, but do not use them because you'll get into a lawsuit. When there are new problems are always, the lawsuits are always with the new inspectors because they're learning, they're new. They think like even the contractors, when they start inspections, they think it's like the construction. They don't understand that every little thing counts here. It's not just the plumbing, roof, electrical, every little thing. Is the door making a squeaky noise? Is the windows, are they opening properly? Are you having a hard time opening them? Are the screens okay? And every little thing, every little detail is part of the inspection. So that's, again, now we asked about the association, we asked about licensing, we asked them how long they've been doing it. Over 5 years is a good number. That means that they've done it for a while. And if they say, why are you asking? Say, well, I want to know, my buyer wants to know. I want to hire someone that has been doing it over 5 years. Don't be intimidated asking them because they can even do that. Make you feel like, why are you asking me? I know what I'm doing. Ask them because they know that you might know that this industry is not controlled by the state, but they want to intimidate you. It's like, and they might think that you don't know. So make sure that to ask them that. And then another question is, as much as I remember that it's on there, you have to also ask them if they have E&O insurance, which is the errors and emission like I talked about. For example, I have 2 million, I think, per property. It's very expensive to have that insurance. And if you are sued a couple of times, none of them will insure you. When you do your homeowner's insurance, when you sell a home or you buy a home, if you have homes, I'm sure that you have the homeowner's insurance, which is in case there is an earthquake. Not if you have earthquake additional, that's good. But if it's not, the basic one has fire, if the house gets flooded with water and all that. That's an insurance that, we have with our houses. And if anything happens, we go back to them and say, look, the first rain, the house is full of water, or the plumbing pipe popped and there's water, they take care of you. It's the same thing with this. If you don't have E&O insurance, if they don't have it, let's say they missed something. They said it's fine. They said roof is fine, electric is fine. And then now they come in and they put a gadget in, another gadget, and like the electrical panel is not being able to handle it. Now you say, oh, they told me it was fine, I'm okay. So you go back to them and say, look, it's not happening, it's not working. They can easily tell you, hey, I have a clipboard and a truck. I'm done with that inspection. I have no liability. That's how easy it is for them to pick out. And you can't do anything about it. It's all about money. If they don't have the money, how are they gonna take care of you? You can complain, you can say you did this and that. It's money. If they don't have insurance, if they don't have the money to come and take care of it, they're gonna say, I have no liability. Unless someone calls Better Business Bureau, and I don't know who calls Better Business Bureau now to ask, which we are also on it with shining reviews. That's the only thing you can do. You can't complain to the contractors board. You can't complain to the state. You can't do anything. So that's why another question for you is going to be, may I ask if you have E&O insurance? And if they say yes, they do, make sure for them to send you the certificate of insurance. Because I've had a couple of experiences when agents, when I've done the classes or I've done the presentations, and I'll talk about this, and they'll call me and say, look, after you told us, we called our inspection company, asked them to send us their insurance, and one of them sent the life insurance company a life insurance certificate from Prime America. When he looked at it, he goes, this is your life insurance certificate. I said, oh my God, I made a mistake. What insurance are you looking for? Well, your E&O for your liability. And they'll say, oh, I don't have that. So just make sure that they have it. And if they do send it to you, make sure that it's insurance for inspectors. Make sure that it says it's for inspections, okay? This insurance, I can always send you one if you guys need one to see one. I'll put my front desk phone number there. You can call Maggie, she'll email it to you. And so make sure that they have it and make sure that it's not expired. So my suggestion to you, let's say you have few companies that you like and you are giving it to the client. It depends what your office is offering you. Just remember that it doesn't matter how many you give, just make sure that they're all are qualified inspection companies, that they all have the, they have experience, they have licensing. Because if it's me, you sent me 10, and then I start calling and educate them. Look, besides asking the price, ask them if they have all this. You can also email that to them. If you go to my website, you can, I'll put it in the chat, send that website to them. You have a buyer, they're looking for an inspection company and they're saying, I want to go on my own. Okay, no problem. Send them this website and say, look, you can go on your own, but I'm also sending you a website where you can learn more about this industry so you can hire the most qualified one. And you email, you CC it to you, so you have that. In case when they hire someone on their own, and if it's not a company that, they don't ask all the questions, and this company now missed a lot of items, and they called them and they're saying, I don't have any money, they still come back to you. They'll come back to you and say, well, why didn't you educate me? Why didn't you tell me that I need to ask these questions? I didn't know. I thought like any other industry, this is going to be licensed and insured and all that. All I did is I asked the price. So that's why you should send it to them. So you have educated them. Now they can come back and say, I didn't know. If anything happens and if you go to court with them, if the judge sees that you did send them an educational anything, a website or an email, hey, ask them if they have insurance, if they are members of any inspection company. I mean, yes, inspection, are they members of any inspections association? And, do they do repairs? I'm going to talk about repairs too. So those things are important for you to be safe. The best way for you to figure that out, call those companies, minimize it. 10, I think, is too much. Minimize how many you have. And let's say you like us, right? Every agent, every broker and manager always at the meeting says, look, we love Advance. And some of them say, look, you can tell them, look, I have this list. We have this company that we've used a lot. We know that they're one of the most qualified companies. You can do that. But when you have the other ones too, don't just assume that they're going to go with us when they might not go with us. They go with somebody else. Now, do they have insurance? Are they members of CREA? Do they have experience? Do they do repairs? You have to ask all those from them too, get all that. It takes you the most 20 minutes to do all this. Call company, ask questions, they send it to you. Let's say half hour, let's say 1 hour from your life, but it's going to save you from a headache later. So another question that is good to ask, there are companies that they do everything. They'll say, I'll come in, because let me tell you, when you do an inspection, the specialists that are very important to bring is the chimney and the sewer. So when we do the inspection, the inspectors who do this, they check the plumbing, but whatever goes from the house to the street, that's the city. Some cities don't have public sewer. They have the septic tanks. The septic tanks are the ones that are in the backyard somewhere, huge tanks, deep down under the soil. And a company comes every year and cleans it. Everything goes there. Water, everything you use, it's going to be there. So, but that's a different inspection. Then you have to bring a septic tank, which we're there, the seller is supposed to tell you it's septic tank. And we do have companies, not have for us, we don't own the companies, and I don't make any money from them. I just give you companies that I would love for me to use. Because if I give you companies that you're going to love me more. So I try to give you anybody that I know is going to take good care of you, instead of me thinking who's going to give me money. So I have all those referrals for you that I can give you, that I use for my sister's house, for my relative's house, from our house. And you love them, good people. So let's say it's a septic tank, then it's going to be a septic tank. If it's something that is from the house to the street and it's a public sewer, then you have to bring someone who has a video that they put in with it's like a gadget, like a snake. They just put it in there, and the video camera outside will show you if the roots of the trees are been clogging the pipes. of the plumbing going from the house to the street. That's how we have the backups. You know, we have problems. It's because the trees are in there, that water is not going through, and that's how it comes back. So that's something that those fees, we usually send you to plumbing dudes, which he used to be our inspector, and then his brother's partner left to another state. So a few years ago, he decided to join him. So he does plumbing work and sewer. I think it's 285 to 95. It's not a big deal. Very good guy. He's amazing. And you can always use anybody else. Please don't worry about that. But they come in and they put the snake, and in the video, they give the client the video right away. So what I learned is that I guess the trees, the reason they go to those roots is that when they're thirsty, they look for water. And that's why they're underneath the house, where's plumbing, and they're in the street where the plumbing pipes are going. They somehow find a way to drink some water. So when there's a house that has huge trees on the front, and we love it, and we say, oh, how beautiful this is. And you see the sidewalks. I mean, I go to the Los Feliz offices, and the streets by the time, and I take food, by the way. I usually bring you guys Greek food. I haven't been there with food. Once you start, I think you just started your live meetings. I think the next one I'm going to be doing that. The trees go underneath so badly that the sidewalks are pulling up. You've seen those, you know, and I don't know why your cities don't fix that. They don't fix it, and it's such a hazard. People fall. That's what the trees do. So that's what is very important. So if you see a lot of trees, especially, yeah, very excited, but you need to do sewer inspection, and we'll tell you, we'll advise you for that. So, and then there's a chimney inspection, which is very important too. That's another camera. We'll check it, but we can't see too much when we put our heads in there. So with chimney, they bring a camera, they put it in, and they see if there are cracks and there's any problems with chimney collapsing. Because with all these earthquakes that we have, many of them we don't feel, but we do have them. The chimneys can crack, and also carbon monoxide problem. The pipes can crack if it has a gas pipe, and that's where the carbon monoxide comes out. That's why we have these smoke detectors. A few years ago, they came up with carbon monoxide and fire smoke detectors. And they have like beep beep, and then they beep beep beep, whatever it is, it will tell you if there's any carbon monoxide. I think one of the celebrities a long time ago, I think a talk show, one of their relatives died, and they said it was from carbon monoxide, and that's how they just started looking into it, and they figured out that yeah, that's poisonous gas. So that's another thing that it's very important to do. And I do have a beautiful, amazing company that is. I can give you, we're thinking of maybe starting sewer all these years. And every time I want to say, hey, do it, my husband says, I don't want the, liability of conflict of interest, because CREA doesn't allow us to do anything else but only physical inspections. But many companies broke the rule, and they just say, oh, I'll do everything. I'll do sewer, I'll do chimney, I'll do roof, I'll do this, I'll do that. I have a, handyman. You don't know if the problems are there. Why would you want to pay all that money if you don't know the problems are there? So that's how they create more business for them. They'll even give you a package deal. So my suggestion as an instructor, as this is why I'm here today, you go with someone who does only inspections. Let them tell you the truth. Let them be on your side, not thinking, how much more money can I make? It's just like, I'm sorry, this is my son's phone. Let me turn it off. So sorry, my son decided to visit me yesterday and stayed here. He took a day off, and he left the phone here with me. He's in his bedroom, ex-bedroom. He lives on his own, so I didn't know it was here. Yeah, so yeah, try to find, just like going to the doctors. Let's say you went to a physical checkup, and the doctor said, oh, don't worry about it. Your heart is has murmur. Let me check it. I'll figure it out. Your kidneys are not doing good. Oh, I am a kidney specialist. I'll do it too. That's not what the doctors do. The doctors are specialized. That's why we have specialized doctors. So if they tell you all this, they'll scare the hell out of you. This is bad, that's bad, or this is good, that's bad. So it's always good not to have any conflict of interest. The client can come back to you and say, look, this company that you hired, they told me all this, and then I paid all this. I moved in, I brought the plumber, and they said my plumbing is not that bad. I don't need to do anything right now. So in many ways, you do that. Of course, it's your decision. You're an independent contractor. I cannot force you to do anything that you don't want to, but I suggest you, please, being in this business for so many years, just to hire an inspection company who does their inspection, and then they tell you what to do. What other inspections you have to do? Again, if you see trees and the chimney, it's always good to bring us and them. And again, if you're going to go with us, you give us a call. I'll just, give you the numbers, and because we're referring you, they'll make sure that they're there at the same time and they can inspect that. But for the most part, the inspectors will tell you, at the side, who else you need to bring. So that's that. And also, if they say they're a handyman, please do not. They're at the side and they're saying, no, this is the problem, but I have a handyman company. There's a card. Bring them, they'll fix everything. Well, you don't know if there are problems. I don't know if I go underneath the house. I don't know anything about houses. I don't know if there's a problem that I have to fix now, or a roof, or electrical, or something is broken. It might not even cost as much. Just try to stay away from liability. If they say, I do handyman work, please do not go with them. They're going to create problems. They're going to ask you, this is problem, that's a problem, but we'll fix it. So the moral of this class is hire someone who's the most qualified with the qualifications that I gave you, and then also someone who only does inspections. If we do sewer, just know that's going to be amazing because we know exactly how we're going to do it. But I don't know, my husband always says, no. I've always been a fan of it, just the sewer, only sewer, not chimney, because I've been asked all the time, Mary, please do that too. But I have a very good referral for you that it will be the same thing if we did it, okay? So that's it. Do you have any questions, by the way? And am I doing okay? Are you guys happy with what's going on so far with the class?
Yes, this is so helpful. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So let me also talk about a scenario that just happened, and I'll tell you why you also would choose an inspection company who also goes to your walkthroughs. So you do inspection, and now there are things that you guys find, and now you can go back and renegotiate. You go back and don't be afraid of negotiations. Your broker will tell you, yes, for a couple of years, nobody was going back and forth because nobody wanted to fix anything. Everything sold so high. The seller went with the person that didn't ask for anything, but now it's coming back. It's coming back. So what you do is, let's say there's problems. And at that time too, they did some renegotiation, depends what they were buying. Let's say you have this sale, and now you found out, and the buyer, by the way, whenever you have an inspection, please make sure the buyers are there. If your buyer is an attorney, a doctor, in the film industry, which we have a lot of those, they can't, that's fine. And when you're there, listen to it, but don't try to remember anything because you don't want to translate anything to them. You are there just to open the door or to be there with the listing agent. So when we send the report to them, they will give us a call. We'll go over the whole thing with them. Because let's say, because the terminology is different, just like real estate. Then real estate language with your contingencies, easements, liens, all this stuff, right? You learn while you're in it. Let's say you are now, you did the inspection and we gave you terminology that you don't even understand that much, or you didn't want to ask again. And you say, oh, everything was okay. They said everything was okay. They will hold that against you. Once escrow is closed, and even though we told them everything on the phone, but because you've told them to, and I'll give you a case study for that in scenario, don't say anything. We will go over that, but try to have them come to the site. We have us, we have the best bedside manners. We know how to present the problems. We go over the whole thing. And any inspection company that you're going to choose, please ask them if they'll go over the report on the spot. There are some, they'll give you a written report on the spot. Please do not use them. They'll just finish the inspection, go into their trunk very quickly, do the whole thing, give you the report. Now, on those reports, most of them, if it's not all, says check with the specialist. It looks like it's fine, check with the specialist. It's fine, check with the specialist. They know they have no liability, but they're done. They don't have to go back home and print reports and do reports like our inspectors do. My husband every night is up until 1. Not that I love it very much, but it's okay. It's our lifestyle. So we take a day off. We make up for that. But every inspector types the report. When they come back, within 24 to 48 hours, we send you the report. But let's say some people want it the same day. We do give them the same day. Many times we do the same day. And it depends if it's 2 inspections, 3 inspections. But we specifically talk about that property. When it's on the spot, it's generic property. Okay, guys? So they just write whatever, it's okay, but check with the specialist, check with the specialist, check with the specialist. You go to court, if there's a problem, they're off the hook because they said check with the specialist. So go with someone that can give you the report later so they can go concentrate, write, and send it to you. And it can be specific to that house. So that was done. Also, I'm going to give you a scenario. Okay, about walkthrough. So now you found some items and you go back to the listing agent, send them, talk to the buyer. Buyer says, you know what? And if you can ask for credit, if you ask for something to be fixed, it's okay. But you can also, if they're going to fix it, ask them to be fixed by a professional. Because there are times that the sellers feel like they know how to do stuff. And they'll say, no, I'll fix it. I've done it. I used to paint my house with my dad, or, oh no, I've done a lot of work. I've cut some, wood here and there, and they'll think that they can fix things. And if they do, now you go to your walkthrough. You have 5 days before you close escrow. It's in your contract. You're going to go to a walkthrough. They said they're going to fix this. They're going to fix let's say, the broken, sink, or they're going to fix the broken, or there's spots on the walls, and they're going to make sure that it's all taken care of, and they're going to find out what the spots are for. And now they're all done. They just paint, whatever. You go in with your buyer, you're doing walkthrough. Your walkthrough is always there. If they fix it or not, you need to go and see. I'm sure you know that, to see if the property is in the same condition or not, as you guys saw it first. So then, let's say if there was a plumbing problem, who goes underneath the property? You, the buyer? They don't. They just assume it's done. It's fixed. So with the walkthrough, we're the only ones who go to your walkthrough. No other company does it because they're always afraid of liability. They feel like, because if we come in with you, there's a few $100s we charge. We come in with you, and now we say it's done. Everything is fine. You signed it off. Liability is ours. If the buyer closes escrow, when they close escrow and now they find out there's a problem and you didn't have this person who's going to go to your walkthrough, they go back again. They come back. It's leaking again. The door is making noise again. The window is not closing again. Now you have to go back. Those sellers, very few will say, okay, let me come and fix it. And they say, I'm done with it. I don't know. It was working when I was doing this, when I was there. So the going to the walkthroughs is one of the most important things. And I'll tell you why. Recently, and I did talk about this case scenario with your office a month and a half ago, we did an inspection in Marina del Rey, and they had one of those bathtubs that is a jacuzzi tub. It's like one of those freestanding ones. You can see the bottom. There is an area that you open, you can see the bottom. It's not on the ground, stuck on the ground. It's just there in the air. So we found out that the jet tub is actively leaking. The water is running. We took photos. We showed the video. We wrote the report. We sent it to them. They did renegotiate. They went back and forth. The seller said, I'll fix it. Okay, no problem. They said they'll fix it. When they were going to go to their walkthrough, they gave us a call, and they said the buyer called us and said, do you think you guys can come and see if it's done properly, or should I just call somebody else? And we said, no, we'll go back. We'll come back and see. And I guess the agent also told them that I think they do walkthroughs. So we did go. Oh, by the way, they did send us the completion order. It's done. They paid $500 to I don't know whom. It's fixed. My husband looked at it, and my husband was the one who did this. By the way, we have 7 inspectors. This specific one, my husband had done. He does a lot of commercial properties, and he's very popular, so they ask for him a lot. So he does condos too, and he's asked. So he says, Mary, there's no way this is done. $500, that active leak. He said, my professional opinion, that whole bathtub has to be changed, but I'm not going to tell them because I'm not the contractor for them, but if they fixed it, it will be a miracle if they fix it with $500. I said, it's okay, let's see, whatever. So he goes, and then when there's a jet top, there is a jacuzzi jet top, they have special access that you can open up a little door at the bottom from, I don't know, whichever side. This was from the bedroom side, and you can see it. So Alex opens it up and looks at it, and it's actively leaking exactly the same way. And so he takes another video, a photo, holds them, say, hey, I want to show you something. Your bathtub is still leaking. While they're walking towards him, they're like, no way, it's fixed. The seller is saying it's fixed. The buyer is saying, really, it's not fixed. And then the listing agent is getting upset. It's fixed, this, that. And Alex says, there's no reason to be upset. Let me show it to you. You brought me for a reason. So he opens up the little area. By the way, you can see it's like maybe this big of an area that it opens up, like this is big. And they all see how that bathtub is leaking actively. So with the contracts, I learned after that there's no more contingency. If anything like that happens, you still have to close escrow and deal with it outside escrow, which is crazy, right? So now after close of escrow, you're going to deal with the seller, who's going to come fix it, and this and that. So my husband says, I think you should bring few opinions. Let's see, bring some specialists who install, bathtubs. And they did. We didn't give them a referral. We didn't want to give them a referral. We didn't want them to think that we're trying to create a problem. They did. They called a couple of people from Marina del Rey, and one of them was from Venice. 3 specialists came in, and all 3 told them that this whole bathtub has to come out. There was granite all around it. With the granite, and also because the granite had to be the same, this condo was built in 1995, I think. And so they said that they don't know if they can match it, whatever. Long story short, it was $18,000 expense. They still negotiated. I guess the seller was moving to another state, and she was willing to negotiate before close of escrow, and she credit them $18,000. Can you imagine if you guys closed this escrow, and now you went in, you didn't know, where are you going to look? How are you going to look? You don't know. And now it's leaking. What kind of a phone call were you going to get? And by the way, when it was leaking, it was also already starting a mold. If there's mold there, now the bigger problem is there, right? So this is why it's important if you can find someone, especially if you see a problem like that. It's a problem of major leak, or if it's a electrical major problem. And also, if they are gonna fix it themselves, just like they brought a invoice that, oh, this is done by a professional, just make sure that a professional does it. You can even write it in your calendar, in your negotiation, that, hey, if the seller is going to do this, we want to make sure that we have all the receipts and the completion reports from a professional plumber, from a licensed professional plumber, licensed professional electrician, whatever you want to write. So you can go back to them. Let's say if it's not done properly, where do you go? If it was a handyman or somebody that like him, the seller did it. So this way you can go back and say, hey, because they give you 1-year warranty. Now you have that 1-year warranty. So that was a case scenario. Another one was a chimney that an inspector, this was like maybe 4 years ago, I was at one of the deal back offices. And this girl told me the story in front of everybody and said, you can share this story. Her name is Deborah. She said, I did an inspection. It wasn't us. And the inspector went up to the roof, checked everything, and then checked the chimney and came back and said, look, the chimney rain cap is missing, but the chimney is in great condition. I haven't seen a chimney like this for many years. The report comes in the report, it says, chimney, check with the specialist. So Deborah and their client are talking, and the client says, do you think I should bring a specialist, spend another maybe $300-400? Should I do that? He said everything was okay. So Deborah, the realtor, says, you know what? He told us he's never seen anything like this. So I think it's just something that they do, just liability. I think we're okay. So they don't. They close escrow, the buyer brings a chimney specialist so they can put the rain cap on it. The chimney repair person, after checks the chimney, comes down and asks the buyer to go up on the roof. He goes, can you go up on the roof? He goes, yeah, of course I can go up on the roof. They go up on the roof and he says, hold this chimney and from as much as you can, because they're huge, and see, just try to move it. So he pushes the chimney and realizes that the chimney is moving. I mean, moving in a way that thing can fall anytime. So the buyer is like confused. He told us it's good. They call him. They go, I told you to bring a specialist. I'm not a specialist. I didn't say that verbally, because verbally he said, I never said that. In the report, I'm saying it looks fine, bring a specialist. So Deborah feels very bad. It was a $12,000 expense, and she pays $10,000, gives to the buyer from the commission that she made. I guess maybe that was the whole commission, because she said, Mary, I felt so bad that I told them not to do it. And so I'm not saying that's what everybody does. I'm not saying that's what you should do. The moral of the story is, do not volunteer to give any information or your opinion. Just say, oh, this is what the report says. Let's call him. And if he says, you know what, I don't think it's important or whatever, give him the liability, get it in writing from him or an email, whatever it is. But if I were them, I will bring a specialist, because spend another few $100s instead of $13,000 or $12,000 later. But the moral of this story is, you do not give any opinions. Even if they say it's the best one, the best house, the best this, you know what? I don't know. I'm not an inspector. He wrote that, I think you should just maybe call a contractor, maybe call them. I think let's do a little bit of more homework. I can't tell you what to do. Okay, is that a good scenario for you? Is it a good thing that you learned now? Because this is something that many agents don't know unless I go and talk about it at their meetings, because they think that it's fine. It was fine. I'm going to say it's fine. Stay away from it. There was a meeting that I went to recently at Campus in West Hollywood, and an agent was giving a scenario to Fran Hughes, the manager, and he was saying, look, whenever we have our buyers, we become close friends. We love them. They love us. We think they're the best people in the world, but we forget that if any little thing happens, they'll forget about everything. So yes, make friends. I'm not saying don't make friends, but just be as professional as you can, because when it's money, people forget about everything. And when you hurt the money in their pockets, they forget about the baptisms or bar mitzvahs or bat mitzvahs, whatever celebrations you had, or your birthdays, or you invited them. They'll forget all about that. They'll forget gifts that you bought them because of the fee that now they have to pay. Oh my God, I'm going to spend this much money on this and that. So try be friends. I understand it, but do not get involved in any of the decisions of construction. Or if they say, oh, you know what, can you call and ask, can you find me a contractor so they can give me a price on a certain thing? Ask them to find it themselves. If they want you to find it, have them send you an email that they're telling you, hey, can you find it? Oh, can you shoot me an email? I'm showing properties right now so I can remember. So now you have a proof that they asked you. Because many times they'll say, they decided to call this person. I didn't even know who that person was. They gave me $10,000 to fix this, a plumbing, or $5,000, what have you. And now I brought the plumber after close of escrow. They're saying it's $8,000. Who's going to give me the $3,000? So I cannot talk about this enough, about staying away from numbers, giving them opinions, and or let's say if your house, you had it fixed for a certain amount, and they ask you, I think the problem is something like when you had, don't say, no problem, I fixed it for 4,000, please. That's what will keep you away from court. Any questions? I don't even know if, oh, it's my time has passed. Do you have any questions, you guys?
None for me. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to put my information in the chat before we log off. And anytime you have any questions, please call me, please text me. I'm always here for you. We do, by the way, inspections 7 days a week with 7 inspectors. I'm going to put, if you ask your office, they all know my number, but I'm going to give you my number again. And I'm going to give you, I'm sorry, I'm not putting any commas or anything. I'm hurrying so I can put the info. The first one is my cell number, 9645. So it's 818-434-9645. That's my cell. Our office is 818-247-7771. Our website is agpic.com. I put that too. And our email is agpic@agpic.com. It's all there. Yeah. And if you, again, this class can be 2 sections, 3 sections. I'll ask them if they want me to continue with you another maybe half hour another day, but just know that I covered most of the important things that you need to know about inspections, how to stay away from problems. And again, when you find a good company, please do not worry. If your company, if your buyer chooses us, just know that you're going to sleep at night. You're not going to worry about anything, because you can go and see our report too. Our report is very thorough, and we do go over everything with them. We stay with them after close of escrow. They have questions, they can give us a call. We have the insurance, we have the bond, we have the experience, we are co-chair of one of the CREA associations, so you're safe. But it's what you feel like doing, it's whatever your broker tells you. I'm here just to give you advice and to teach you how to stay out of court. I love you both very much. Itati, huh? That's your name. No, that's the front desk. Ashley, I appreciate you and all of you who are here.